Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. As you can see in the title, this is a video on redrawing one of my old characters. You can tell I have a moving background. Explain that, well, it's quite simple. In KineMaster there is a area in the shop where you can basically download a moving background, which I found, and I think I really like this one in particular. Now onto the character. The character is named Year. Why did I name him that? Well, it was just a silly little name that I thought was cool. And originally I wanted a cool sci-fi kind of character, but also a technology guy who could, like, change timelines and stuff. Unfortunately, I'm not sure where the original inspiration came from, but it was definitely Undertale. Nowadays, I do not use this character very often, but I still love him to death, because he was one of my favorite characters at the time when I originally made him. Eventually, I ended up stopping using him. I'm not entirely sure why I stopped, but I did. I think it was simply because I had grown up. I was no longer in middle school at all. I originally had made this character in about 2019-2020. The drawing that I'm referencing was from 2020, however. Now on to the art. Basically what I was trying to do with this art was to give him a design that I liked nowadays, since before I kind of tried a decent, somewhat okay design, but honestly, it didn't really fit the character too much. Throughout the time-lapse, you'll see that I have issues with the mouth and the eyes. I have no idea why, but they were the most pain-in-the-butt parts of this drawing, and I cannot, for the life of me, understand why. I didn't exactly have an idea of what I wanted for the outfit design. I was thinking in my head, hey, what if I gave him a completely different outfit? But I realized that doesn't really fit the character, because this character is supposed to be a little bit more reserved, but he knows what he's doing. The parts that I'm really happy with and what I improved on was definitely the proportions, because if you look in the original drawing there, which technically isn't the original drawing, but I can't get into that, I'll find the image and probably put it at the start. Aside from that tangent, I really do think I got better with the proportions. He looks more like an adult like he's supposed to be. He kind of just looks like a teenager child from the other photos, so... One thing that I notably changed is his scarf, since originally when I made it, it kind of looks like it's glowing, which it shouldn't. That's not what the design was meant to be. It was supposed to kind of look like Ink Sands, if y'all know who that character is. But it just doesn't fit him now, so... I also changed the visor thing a little bit. I don't really know what it's called at this point. I will eventually figure it out. But the little fins I added there, simply because it doesn't look right without that. And he's a part of a universe with other characters who have a very similar thing. But his just looked like CD discs, honestly. And I think someone did point that out to me. I also went for a desaturated color palette, since I don't really like the hyper-saturated everything. Like, it was super bright to the eyes, and it kind of hurt my eyes, honestly. Now, one of my favorite things to do with a sketch layer, honestly, is to color it first, and then start lining, so then at the end, when I'm ready to color it, it actually has the colors that I want pre-ready. Now, the size that I use for the pen brush is at a 1.8 or 1.7. I'm not entirely sure what I used the entire time, but I'm pretty sure it's a 1.7. Why do I do that? Because I like cleaner lines. I don't like those thick lines. I like a sharper look to my drawings. In my original drawings of this character, I typically used the size 2.0, and the reason was because I didn't realize I could line with a smaller amount. I typically thought that 2 was perfect, but in reality, for my style, I don't think it is. Now, around this point, I start to color in the lines, and I choose a kind of pink-red desaturated color for the background. I did this on purpose. I saw someone else do this, and I decided, hey, let's try this. So basically, this is to figure out what the shading color will be in the end. It will be a darker version of that background color. When I started shading, I started with a smaller amount that was basically the very fine shading parts where all the wrinkles and everything are really important here. And then eventually you'll see that I get more thick shading areas. I don't know how to describe this really, it's kind of hard. But you'll also notice that the color of the shading changes right there. And the reason for that is because it didn't quite work with the colors that I was using. It made it look odd. I don't know how to describe it, it just didn't look right. I was also using different types of filters for this. Eventually I used a color burn, I think, for the final shading product because, oh, right there, you can tell I was trying to figure everything out right there. But I used basically color burn because it looked the best, but the other ones, if I had used a more saturated color, I probably would have used. Now, I put a background color there, which was yellow, to make sure I knew what highlight color I was going to use. This is something I don't do often, but I think it definitely helped here. And I like the colors that came out. As you can tell, I forgot to do the visor there, that was funny there. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with the colors, and then I did something with the background that I normally don't do. I basically did those circles. I think that made it come out way better, and I really liked the final product. Now, what to take away from this video, I think, is that anyone, no matter their age, can improve, and they will always be able to improve if they really do want to improve. If you're doubting yourself in art, just keep your hopes up high and continue, honestly. That's how I got through art, and how I improved. I tried new things, and not everything looked perfect. I hated my art for a lot of time, but eventually I became very proud of it. I had to re-record this part, but if you made it to the end, I am very grateful for you for watching. If you want free art, there is a video on my channel here, and it will be linked in the description for some free art. It is a contest. I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day or night, and stay safe, and I'll see you on the next video.